People understand it's technology.
Okay, folks. All right. Let's give it a second here. Hey guys. So let me follow my sword. That was me. Technical difficulty. My virtual camera was actually not playing. Woof. All right. I'm going to give everyone just a few minutes to pop back in, right, and find the new link. They'll get notified. Just going to give it a moment. Give me a second here. Sorry. Okay. And then, okay, let's go into Instagram Live now. Let's go back here. Okay, people are rolling in. This is going to be a good one, guys. So it's actually relatively. Hey, folks on Instagram, sorry about that. I had technical difficulties. The computer guy, right? Oh, that's gone. All right, hold on. Getting started here. All right, this is going to be a good one. And it's important that we didn't abandon this altogether in frustration. We just let things flow. All right, so people are coming in. Thank you, everyone. This is going to be a fantastic broadcast, right? Because, well, we're actually going to do some hard opening, right? And I have some channel transmissions that came through the other day that I want to talk about and share with everyone. So, without further ado, I'm just going to take a little energetic pause myself, just kind of clear my field for everyone. Kilma Bauleao, Sharoti, Shirito Maleta, Kilma Balero Tori Shaliaro, Torishino Colomaleto, Shakamaleriaro, Torishino Toto Tosha. Just going to ground a little. All right, everyone. Hi, Karina. All right. So, again, welcome everyone, watching the live and the replay. Listen, this space is to experience the work directly that what I do, right? So nothing to do, nothing to believe, and just notice how your body responds over the next hour, right? And so for those of you who don't know, my work focuses on supporting the body and the soul, right? So clarity, healing, discernment, inner knowing can all arise naturally, especially during periods of shifts and changes, right? And which is what we're going to do, right? It's very, very important to me to not only, of course, have my paid stuff, right? My catalog and all these other things, but to show up to the world in places like this, YouTube and other social media, and even my catalog and things to give, right? There is a balance. There is a give balance. Of course, there is a receive balance on my side. For those of you who don't know, it is not easy running the business, honestly, right? I've run 3 companies. All been successful in the cybersecurity arena. And this particular company right now, it takes a team of almost 15 people to support everything, right? So I appreciate the support you guys have for me. And this is why I show up like this for you guys, as well as the other stuff. So with that being said, today is about letting the body lead and noticing what becomes clear, right? And when we do. Okay. So I just want everyone to kind of take a breath and just relax. Kind of get centered, get grounded. And we're going to start with the activations first. So I just want you to feel supported. And I want you to just kind of slow your system down, right? We're in no rush, not anymore. Now we got the video working. Right, and again, when the body settles, clarity doesn't need to be forced. All right. I just want you to visualize a bubble over you, please. Bubble of protection. This is what you do in group settings. Team's going to do it as well. This keeps your energy yours. Now, I'm going to begin with some live activations to support your heart expansion and your solar plexus. All right. So again, nothing is being done to you, right? It really is, your system's only going to receive what it's ready for. And if this isn't in alignment with you, just tell yourself, no, I don't want this, right? Just that easy. So we're going to say a thing. We're going to do a thing. This is how it works with the team. So the first thing is we're going to do a heart opening so you can express to yourself and yourself can express to the world. Shalamalera yarota o tira by a shira to kiliriara to kalira shira to connotishanamo kaura tirata. Mamayo tiro tiri shiria tietaro torishinotono chinate caputo shitukurioto. Mamala aura tiri shiroto shinotiato kamayata tiri shito kuroto aura tapokure to kanitia. Tirita, tirashi, tiata mota. Mamalero toriaro tono shiroto yoto shate kalere komayata tiri shiroto kodo shitukodio karbariaki to karbariata. Shala mamalere arato yato shiliera mapali arato. Shalayara tariara tieniruto no shao kure shioto. Mamao tau nishi and tau no tokoshito chishila tau payao kiruto. Nia no tau tire shiratari artina shinete koro to koroborearoto. Nara mama dia shi tia. Komearo tore shirakama pao. Nielero to no sharataro to shitikilero to shitokoyo to yoshanatapoku. Shikino pokao kuroborio shonoto. Tiliara to natara tiri shira tekiliru koroto shanatika to korea to korea. Shalaleara tariara tekili. Shalearia to remabakure shiroto. Muriaro tore chiniti nata notaro tari to katia to kashiruto moyatao kiruto. Mamania tao notashino tokshakie the kara tieta toshikoteko vegetatika makiruto. Toshatao kilian kai urto nato. Momolo tiri shirata maposhao kurishiniata. The next one's going to be an activation that's going to allow you to forgive yourself, right? How many times we hold on to that thing that we did that we just can't forgive ourselves, the conversation, the action, the place we were at we shouldn't have been at, whatever those things are, right? So this is going to be those codes to allow that forgiveness to take place within you, and also releasing guilt and anger that's stored inside of you. Just drop into the heart and allow any emotions to come through that may. Just pulling some trauma out. Mabalero torero kashariaro korabalero koreshi kodogo balero kalero kalbalero koreshi atauku. Mabalia tariara tirishi to koreata. Tariaro shiro kodogo balero kalero kashikara balero kalero torio shikodo balero kanerica mauku mushuno tiana pauku ledaloto. Tarma bariara tariara tirishi to kodogo balero karete kashiri taria lariar hidden suppressed. But yeah, dush kodogo balero karete kashiri Tarma Balero Barana, Tarma Malaya, Rio donation to Cormare Cariata, Shido, Shao, Comushono, Shanodoja, no the Yanoshaniata, Mapariare, Tiri, the Tiere, the Rodoro, Shidotor, Dotor, the Atiria, Carma Bariarco, Shiro to Shikiti and the Ta. Mamalaria, Telier, Shiro to Corrica Shikripa, Carma Baleari, Garishariakia, Coris to Coriar to share the Cariarica. We're going to pour some more out of the body. Come open them up. Shiliarataria Mayarotara Shirotori Rotosha to Koro to Koya Noisha, Kora Baleari Aratore Shirokori, feel the weight release. Mabaliaratariara Kalema Dao, Tiro Shira to Kono Tosharoto. Torma Baleara Tore Shiro to Kodushko to Kono to Korea Padioto Shirita, Niri no Shiro to Koro to Koreshi, Koro to Karma Baleara Toriasho, como Kura Tao, Comoliaro Tone Shirita. Here comes the activation itself. Mopoto shato di resida toto di kutishi kiriata nara mamatario notori rukachikuru to karba tikirishi alaliaro to redushiro to roto kirishi nara mamatario no koshino to go to kishin to kariatica nara mambalo to correct kinich to go to kinich to go to kinich camara mabao kiro to redukorish kaliariato noria tariaro terishi tikinito toshakarika full permission pa ale aleritore to yourself. Colma Baleriaro Torera Sharoto Balero Kereshikuru Balero Kishkiri Bariata, Kin Militariaro Kishuru Corrotoria, Torre Shinetia, Colma Baleara Torre Sharoto Kudushkuria, Colmaba, Lirataria Shiki, Tariao, Mamao, Kile Aleriaro to Shinieta, Makuna Shinieta. All right, folks. Give yourself a drink of water if you're like me. Is anyone else having the audio go in and out? Could anybody else comment? Everything else was fine. I am curious. Sometimes when we have that light language and those high pitches or those low pitches, the microphone might have an issue with it. All right. I'll ask the team to kind of slow it down a little. We'll see if they listen to me. All right. Thank you for the awareness, though. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate everyone. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the solar plexus. We're going to pull some trauma out of that. We're going to amplify it. We're going to bring in some codes for you to give you some more awareness of who you are. Open it up. This is where I find past life, ancestral, galactic trauma, by the way. It's ready to release for you. When we clear this, it brings in a little clarity to who you are. Because you don't have more static in the line. More static in the line. Tarma bariaro ko shiro to go by Yishiko to go to Bariarica Sharo Tamariaro to Mabariara Tiri Shiro to Corapakilo to Shanataro, the Kidet Coreco Bayatia, Karma Bariaro Shiguru Marerica Shikudo, no Toshanata, Matao, Tirodor, the Pakila, Takushino Tomiata, Tarma, so more coming out. Mabariaro Corriere Shikudu, Calerica, she took a Monaco direction of Bakula Pa, Camaliaro Torre, she could seal and heal. Pariara shiro to Cormalera Alerasia, Corbariaro Hashiro Coroshicoria, Cormalero sheet, Copriaro to we're installing some discernment codes at the same time for you. Mabaliaro Catikushino Tometa. All the things I don't know if you guys felt that or not, but it's not often I get the tingles on my side, but I got them with that one. So that was I just love it when I get a chance to feel the energy moving through this system. All right. The next thing we're going to do is raise your vibratory field. When we raise our energetic field, life begins showing up at those new frequencies, right? So as we remove the trauma, as we remove those things that are impacting your life, again, we're talking about the energy, right? Your field will naturally want to elevate higher, right? Like buoyancy in the water just wants to pop up once you get rid of all that muck. So let's go ahead and continue. We're going to clear your field, and then we're going to bring it up a little. Shadow Tayota, Shadito Karish, Balero, Toria, Takaria, Caramabalero, Korish, Kurieta, Caro Pariata, Kelmeto, Shurutoro, Takirush, Bariana, Kermabariaro, Retori, Skurikmetia, Korbashari, Tariara, Karish, Bariamalero, Torshita, to remind me to seal your field. Pariaro, she just keeps your energy yours. Maliaro, Toria, day to day, Caliaro to. Open the field up on the inside, put out the distortions. All the things that aren't theirs. They didn't invite in. This is just day-to-day stuff. Now, this race, we got to go into the body real quick. That your field is going to your physical field. But you should look at rebuild. Here comes your activation for both. Shaliaro Torre Shinataria, Rotaro, Tono Shinatoya, Shariaro, that feels so good. At least over here it does. That didn't bring a smile to your face, right? Sorry, it did for me. All right. Now I know a lot of you want the team to work on specific things. And the reality is there's so many people that show up, and even on the replay, that it's just not feasible possible. But what we're going to do is I just want you to kind of drop into your heart right now. And then I want you to ask your team for whatever it is, the one thing, don't get crazy, the one thing that you need your team to bring to you. Do that now. And then as I tell my people on my Wednesday night events, find something that brings a smile to your face, that high vibrational thing, right? The memory that just makes you nothing but giggle and smile and brings joy. So hang on to that. Do nothing else. I want you to drop the idea of what it feels like in the body, the idea of what you asked for, and just focus on that amazing place. And allow the team to come in and do for you. Mao kinindi naka momoleto ayamakau baku natao moboreto no takao lariato de shitukuruto tatako taokao moboreto te takao te shito koreo takao kapako ko shu kunatao kapa okurato no takao chukuru takapaka kuchishi natao kamalerto koyana kinatao de shaku kushaku dato kauro to kautushi to komkapakiro to kundo to kau kilireta ya mamalere no shiro to ya nabakale leleano to sharo to no tino kanatao pao kiliti aki shile koyo no ya maoki na mama olelia kushi no to yo komakao to shio to mamalea ta ora tiene sinetia ta kishi ta kale ta to shino topo Mamalea ora tara shinata natinata. Kilme bete kurito karo tishirotinoto. Mao mabayo ni no shinatina tina dia on the tono shinoto no takatoka chiquito kadukatia pop. Sharamelete no recto correct caro tika shinato no torone de shinata kadote conetic shinetic rota cara de caleta carata shinitia. Moporio toro de shiro toro corretto canoshi in a tacnito shinoto no totico ticuti popo pieta cauto tico notica. Caukiloto de shitoki to catch cato caro to coropaco notico nichinataro doroto alcobo yonotaku. Mapariato shirotoro to correct cadita papa pianetina taro roto nurkishinata cortoro to corretikinia bao cow carabalare shaniata. All right, folks. So now that your body's settled in and your field is open, all right, the next phase of this YouTube live is for me to channel. I want to make a couple statements here. One, the channelings aren't personal readings, right? They're really there to support clarity and coherence at the collective level. All right. And for those of you that have been following me over the past day or years, right, my team continues to shift me. And typically what happens is they do the work and I'll wake up one day and there'll be a shift, but that is not what's happening in this particular phase of whatever evolution I'm personally going through. And what I've realized over the past couple of weeks is that I really have 3 different levels of channeling. I have the one where they talk to me in my head, okay? It's literally a back and forth conversation. It doesn't happen often. It really only happens when I ask a question. Like they're just not jumping out of the blue and giving me a recipe. They know I don't cook. But there's a second level or depth to my channeling. And that's when I'm in a Wednesday night event, or if I'm on a one-on-one session or something that's a little more intimate with people, they'll come through and they'll channel messages for that person, right? Wonderful. And they're usually short, 2 or 3 minutes long, nothing too crazy. But then there's this new thing that they're doing, and they're teaching me how through these certain visualizations, how to anchor in their frequency. Again, for those of you who don't know, I'm a soul infused walk-in. I'm a soul with infused walk-ins. I'm an embodied collective of these divine frequencies, of these divine soul aspects. And as something's needed to come through, a spark, if you will come down from the stream into the vessel. So understanding that for the background. But this is really closer to a trance channel. So understand that when I'm channeling in the first type or that intimate type, I'm asking questions in my head as the channel comes down, and then they'll repeat that. In the trance channel, they don't want me to ask questions. In fact, they will refuse to listen to me. And this is them training me how to step out of the way. Now, the reason I give you that background is because the other day I sat down and I did a channeling about starseeds. Now, let me set the background because I'm going to play you the audio is what I'm going to do here. It's going to be easier for me to play the audio, but I have an event coming up in February, and no, it's not on the website, but it's a Starseed activation event. All right, if this interests you, go to the website, just sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get the email when we finally get that all settled in. But I was asking the question of, hey, what do we do for activations in that event? You know, give me my script, give me an understanding of what you want. But they kind of went in a little more depth. And it's about an 8-minute transmission. And you know what? Rather than me just trying to tell you about it, I wanted to play it for you. And bear with me, the audio is not the greatest in terms of me trying to figure this out. So I'm going to hit play. And then somebody just message me in there if you're able to hear it. And here we go.
We understand the questions you're asking. We'll start with the Starseed program. You'll be activating their memories. You'll be activating their history. You'll be activating the genomes inside of their body to reconnect them to the pathways, not of their origin, but of the Starseed, again, as you understand that they've chosen to represent. The true origin of most humans, the souls of most humans, are hidden. For the idea of them understanding all of their nature, all of their origins, all of their history is too much for anyone to handle. The soul knows, but the human's only allowed to have certain aspects of that history that serve them in this lifetime. As you like to say, Ken, they get the tools in the toolbox that they need for the job they're doing. And the job is assigned to them by their upper self. It is not being hidden. It is not being constrained from them. It is unavailable. It's unneeded. The history that most starseeds are experiencing right now are the things that they need to deal with energetically. Either bringing those awarenesses in so they can tap into those gifts, those knowings, that knowledge, that thing, or so they can tap in to that history to release the pressure, the energetic pressure in the soul that's creating the distortion. The soul is here for many jobs, but two of them are one, to accelerate the cleaning of the soul, to remove the things that the soul desires it no longer needs in its field. Yes, the human's ascending, but the soul is cleaning. There's a difference, Ken. The soul is already ascended in the idea that it doesn't need to ascend. We're talking the soul, not the embodiment. The soul is already of a high non-embodiment frequency. And it contains things that it no longer wants. Some people call this shedding. The human experience gives us the opportunity to shed through the ascension process, the ascension of the human evolution. Noted difference. Now, the other thing is the soul's here to assist with the ascension of the human, the awareness of the galactic presentation, the awareness of the galactic aspects that are in this region, that are known to the humans. Simply say that there are things, tools, gifts frequencies, energies that the human needs in order to climb the ascension ladder of the species. And these are brought in from the experience of the soul. Many souls. Those are the two aspects. The Starseed conference that you're going to be putting on at the end of February will address both of these aspects, the releasing and the bringing in, the turning on and the shedding of things that are no longer valuable to them. It'll bring in the memories, the awareness. It'll tune them in to the very frequency of the aspects that they need at this time. Don't interrupt, Ken. There are more and more aspects of the human that is showing up for each human. Let us explain that differently. No human has one soul aspect being represented. We'll say that the human, when they become aware of their galactic origins, will for a while hang on to a particular species. A Palladian, an Octarian, an Andromedan, a Reptilian, a Draco, a Lyrian, and so on and so forth. Because those are the frequencies that need to be anchored in to Earth at this time through that channel, through that soul connection. But as that soul grows, and by choice, by the way, but as that soul grows in frequency, grows in expansion, other aspects will come in as well. Think of it like this. As the ascension happens, it's not a linear ascension. It is an exponential ascension, like a balloon filling up wider and wider and wider and taller and taller and taller. Simply meaning in the idea that the ascension gets more broad in scope, not just height and frequency. This means that there are more ET species coming in when it's time, beyond the typical 10 that you're aware of. And yes, there are more, there are many more. Those will come online once it's time. You will learn of new species, new names, new races, new expressions, new ideology of what it means to be galactic in an individual sense. You will have pockets of individuals forming with the same understanding of that history and awareness. It's happening now in a very small scale, but more and more and more. And yes, eventually they will show up in an embodied form as it's time. In fact, many humans down the road, we will say down the road, will begin to resemble in physical structure and form some of those species. New genetic traits will show up in the physical. This is to be expected once the collective is ready to recognize the change. This will bring confusion. It'll also bring cohesiveness and the idea that we are all one, no matter how we look, something the human has struggled with for thousands of years. This is the breaking point of humanity at this time, pushing through those barriers of the physical and moving into the energetic. This is a big moment in history. Now, we're asking what activations should be done to bring in the 10 activations for those species that are current on the planet. This is the angelic. This is the fairy. This is the Andromedans, the Pleiadians, the Octarians, the Mantis, the Lyrians, the Orions. These are high vibrational. You will clean the contracts as well. As he's mentioned this many, many times, there are forces out there, we won't name them in this transmission, but there are forces out there that seek to taint the waters, to muddy up the frequencies, to tack on additional behaviors that aren't representative. The goal here is to create yet more disillusion and more separation, rather than the cohesiveness that the human needs going forward. We will bring those codes in to clean those. We hope this helps you.
All right, there you go. So thank you. I didn't really like playing a recording, but because it takes me a little while to go into that deep trance, It's just not appropriate for the audience to sit here and try to figure that out. So bear with me, right? Just bear with me with that. So again, thank you. I hope that made sense to all of you. Again, that was just a transmission that came through regarding the Starseeds. It wasn't something I had planned at all. So again, when we talk about the second level of channeling, that's what we're going to do right now. So there are a couple questions here that were given to me, right? So one is, what is the inner ability, or what inner ability do humans need in their bodies so they don't get overwhelmed, confused, reactive, or destabilized as everything speeds up? Let me read that one more time for me. They have everything they need already. They just need to be able to sort through the muck of information. What do we mean by the muck of information? So right now, there is a lot of, we love that you choose the term static in the air, static noise, if you will, from others, from news, from places and things, from the environment around them. What the human needs as things accelerate is the ability to push through that and rapidly move aside information that doesn't resonate with them. We call this discernment, but not only that, it's discernment with action. It's one thing to say, I don't agree with that thing or that thought or that concept, and then to continue to sit there over and over and over and allow that thing, that thought, that concept from an external source pound you and pound you and pound you until that frequency instills or embeds itself in your field. Discernment with action is the ability to say, I don't resonate with that statement, that thing, that channel. I'm moving on, turning it off. And often this relates to the idea of not only the news, again, whatever you choose, there's no wrong, there's no right, but whatever you choose, but it also relates to the idea of moving those out of your life who continue to bombard you with that energy that you're no longer in resonance with. The human has such a difficult time moving from a place of cooperativeness to a place where they're in control. Now, those aren't the words we wanted to use, but he can't find them in the head. The idea of you just sitting there and taking it and taking it and taking it is a very normal thing for a human. Blow it off, moving on. But that energy is still hitting you and hitting you and hitting your field. Again, continuing to lower those vibrational things. So the thing the human needs to do is learn discernment with action. We hope that provided the channel. I'm going to go back and read this now. So if you are able to recognize the recording, there's a very different depth of energy versus me literally listening to that channel coming in, trying to understand what they're saying, right? So the question was, what inner ability do humans need in their body so they don't get overwhelmed, confused, reactive, or destabilized as everything speeds up? They need to make actions quickly, right? When you have all that different energy bombarding you, again, we're talking about external sources of information. Energy is information, right? You're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get confused. You're going to get reactive. You're going to get destabilized, right? If you want to take the idea of a political scenario, right? You may subscribe to this political belief on that topic on that particular platform, but then there's 100 other people who have similar but not in alignment opinions and information on the same topic that just bombards you. It confuses you. It causes you reactive. It really gets that energy going. So the point is, discernment and action. Remove those things in your life that don't resonate with you and do it quickly, right? So that's the message from that channel. And by the way, the Starseed channel earlier, I actually didn't remember anything that was said. I had to go back and listen to it. So that's kind of the difference of those, the way it comes through, right? So again, this next one here, I think is going to be pretty similar, but why are so many people feeling disorientated or fatigued, even when they are conscious, self-aware, and actively working on themselves? This is happening again because they are, while they are working on themselves, they're actually not sure what they're working on. Now, we're going to say, we're not referring to the particular thing. We're saying energy. Everything he does is energy in the field, energy interference, right? The energy interference itself swirls around over and over inside of the field. It's not in a stagnant one position, right? So when you are working on yourselves and you're releasing that emotion, that stuck emotion, right? You pull it out and you think there's an empty void there. There's not. There's another energy interference that comes in, right? This is causing that confusion. This is causing the issue with, I'm working on myself, but I'm feeling worse. I'm feeling worse, right? Some people call it layers, and it is layers, but this is a different idea of taking something out of your field, appropriately taking something out of your field, and something else filling it in. Taking it out and filling it in until there's nothing else to fill in. This is the idea of the work, right? So yes, it may feel like when you start doing your inner work, you're just opening up, we call something fun, the word, the Pandora's box. Like, oh my gosh, now I've got 100 things I need to do to work on myself. Yes, but they are always there. They were always there to work on. So this is why you get the idea of, again, I'm opening my eyes here, the disorientation, the fatigue, right? What's happening, right? Again, so that's how the channel's explaining this, is that your energetic field is alive, right? It's not like a static file on a hard drive. Once you delete the file, it's empty, format it, wonderful. It's not what's happening. Things are just filling in and swirling in, right? As you remove those distortions in your field, you raise up a little in frequency and raise up a little more, raise up a little more, right? But there's a lot there to do, right? This is the time of the human, rapidly ascending in the human structure. And this is what the team does, right? The team will come in and remove, like heavy construction equipment, come in and pull a lot of that distortion out. And this is why many of you on the calls, or whatever you're doing here to expose yourself to the team, are feeling those rapid shifts and changes, right? Because they're pulling out a lot at once. But when we do the work ourselves, it's a little slow. It's a little titrated, right? We get these big emotions, we think to release, and we got another one coming in. If you stay tuned, the Library of Creation, which will be released in mid-March, will actually help you accelerate your own healing journey. Okay, so I hope that made sense. Again, I'm just trying to come through here. What becomes available when clarity is allowed to live in the body rather than be managed in the mind? Clarity is already in the body. It's the mind that creates the distortion, right? It's the mind that creates the reality that you want to live, not the reality that is truth. We'll simply say that imagination is everything, right? And when you imagine a life of despair, a life of lack, a life of unloving relationships, right? Based on history or based on what you expect the future to hold, that is the cloudiness, right? That clouds the clarity of what actually is available to you, right? The mind creates the life you're going to live. When you're able to step out of that mind and drop into the body, again, through meditation or through other work, and you're able to feel your own resonance, right? When you're able to feel into who you really are, right? Who am I? Who have I been? Not the story, but the energy. When you recognize you are the creator, the mind will step aside or create what you really want to create, not based on history, not based on your environment, not based on your belief systems that have historically programmed you. The mind can be a powerful ally or a destructive foe. And right now, the human's learning how to use the mind to create rather than to constrain. Live the story over and over and over. The mind's really, really good at that. Looping thoughts, looping realities. Learn to clear those. Step beyond. Dream. Imagine. Allow the creation to unfold. Okay, we hope that helped. All right, folks. Moving right along. Channeling to get better. It will. I'm working on it every day. Every day I'm working on it. All right. So that being said, let me just check over here. Are there any other questions we need to deal with? Again, we had the healing, we had the channeling, we brought the other information in. I know there's a bunch of links happening up in the chat here regarding some of the other things that we do, right? Some of us had missions to clear out that energy, stop curses, stop ancestral trauma. The reality is, Shelby Rhodes, we all have that mission. Seriously. Right? We have that mission assigned to us from what I call the upper self. You guys label it as the higher self typically, right? But it's actually you. Remember, 10% of us are here in the human form. The other 90% of us is on the other side of the veil wrapped around us saying, hey, I'm right here. I'm right here. And that's the one saying, hey, let's get rid of those ancestral stuff, right? The curses, the history, right? We all have that mission at the soul level. And every one of the things are different, right? Not everyone is dealing with jinns or demons, and some people are just dealing with ancestors who, had a really, really rough life. So, absolutely. come back here to Shelby, feel more starseed than human. But, think about it, right? If you were the outside looking in, the human's also a starseed, right? So the human, to get back to the channel, is ascending. It's not the soul. The soul's ascended, ultimately. But the soul is coming into the human structure to ascend the species. And to do that, we need the resources, the tools, the energy, the activations, the other galactic things from the Starseeds. That's why when we've lived those lives, and we've all lived those lives, we're saying, you know what? Right now, I need that Palladian inside of me to step forward and deliver that love to my community or to my platform, or whatever that is. And then as you move on, you may find yourself, gosh, that mantis inside of me. Now we're going to bring in technology as an example, whatever those things are. So it's okay to ebb and flow between species because you've been all of them. But it's that anchoring of those codes from those other species that are needed to evolve our DNA into this next version of the human. Okay, we hope that made sense. What is the hollow bone you speak of? Is the divine director separate from the collective of walk-ins you have? My God, that's a great question. Okay, the hollow bone. When I was told it's a hollow bone, it took me a long time to understand what it was. Because remember, I don't have the background, right? I don't have it. I'm a walk-in, and all these things happen to me. And the hollow bone is the idea of a pure transmission coming down unaltered. We're not talking about my channeling. We're talking about those codes, okay? Coming down from up there. I'll talk about up there in a second. Coming down through the vessel and being delivered, because often it takes a human to activate a human, right? Period. This is why we're showing up to fictitious name Joey's activation of 8-8 portal. I'm making it up, right? Because we need that. And we need to be able to put it into our field so those around us can also receive. Again, our codes and activations are happening with those around us as well. So, the hollow bone. It's the ability to bring information down with no contracts, no clauses, no codes, no backdoors, no hooks, no requirement, no commitment, so to speak. And a lot of times when you get activation and codes from out there, they're throwing in some fine print in that contract. And us as humans, because we have the veil and we don't have the ability to discern deep, we don't know what's happening. So hollow bone strips that, if you will. And it doesn't allow me to interfere either, period. I have no idea what you guys are receiving when that light language comes through, right? Now, let me get back into the question real quick. Who is the divine director, right? And he's separate from the collective of walk-ins you have. The answer is yes, separate, but not necessarily. We need to remove the idea of walk-ins that I have because they are no longer walk-ins. They are all infused as a single collective in my field, my energetic field. We are all one. We're not separate. And this collective is part of a divine stream of consciousness. Let me explain. The divine stream of consciousness handles all the laws and rules, if you will, of all the species across all of creation, right? Every species, every existence, every reality has a different set of rules to play by. Okay, it's just the way it is. You can call it the game if you want, right? But the divine collective, the divine authority, they call themselves, to ensure that everybody plays by the rules set in front of them. This is that collective that's in my field. Now, that collective is run by the great divine authority who gets his directive directly from source, creation itself. Okay. And you can do some research on the great divine director. Someone had said that he's in charge of the karma board and some other things, right? He will be channeling through me. He's done it 3 times now, and it's very, very deep in my chest. It's very, very loud. Okay. I don't have the energetic strength to handle it at this moment. And please understand, there is not a single full soul aspect in there. They are sparks, just a spark, just a tool that comes down through the light language as needed. So the great divine director is pretty much in charge of the show, all the show, and everything eventually reports up to him. That's my rudimentary understanding of the great divine director. I hope that makes sense, folks. What else we got here? Okay, so the Earth School is where we come to clear karma. That is true, but it's a little different. So the great divine director, again, he's in charge of the karmic board. And he's like, listen, the idea of us having to serve karma is done. It is slowing the entire ascension process down like molasses. So changes have been made, are being made. That says, listen, you don't have to serve that karma anymore. You just need to remove the energy in your field. You don't have to go through another lifetime of fill in the blank, servitude, lack, whatever. It is a choice now. You don't have the karma aspect. So as soon as you drop the idea that you have to be a certain thing to serve karma, the sooner you get to move on your ascension piece, period. It doesn't apply like it used to apply. Things are changing rapidly. So you can call it a school. You can call it a vacation too, right? All right. The next 2 decades of humanity, the team won't channel prophecy, right? Because they're not going to show up and be another year of 2026 is going to be, and then the third quarter is going to be, yay. They're not doing that. YouTube it. There's a million different channels out there that'll provide you exactly 1 million different perspectives of what's going to happen. And not for nothing, but when it doesn't happen, there's a timeline shift. Always an answer. So the team's not going to do that to you. They're not. They are literally here for the human, not prophecy. So respectfully, they shut me down as well. They won't tell me anything about the future, right? So that being said, I hope that was helpful for everyone. And I do apologize for, again, the technical delay earlier. So give me 1 second here, just checking. All right. I think we're good here. So a couple things here, a couple announcements, right? Again, we had to restart the YouTube live, and we'll put it into the Instagram description as well. We got to rebuild the description, right? But there are some free gifts, right? Which are some free clearings. Again, it's kenlloydofficial.com /free dash transmission, I think, right? The question about the Starseed activation event in February is not posted yet. Sign up to the newsletter, and you'll get a link as soon as we get that posted. That'll be, I think, I don't know if it's a Wednesday night event or a 2-hour event, right? I will be in the LA Expo, February 19th to the 21st. Come find me. Let's hang out. Let's have a conversation, right? Let's have a deeper conversation over this. Okay. Also, if you go to the website, kenlloydofficial.com, there are some free things coming up, right? The free thing coming up is, I want to say it's Tuesday, right? Which is the free healing and expansion masterclass. So I will be in Nashville, Tennessee in person with Sheila Seppi on March 30th to 31st, doing 900 activations over a period of 2 days at the Gaylord Resort. If you've had an opportunity to experience the energy in person, it's different. It's palatable. It's intense, right? And you're going to be sitting up there for 8 or 9 hours on a Monday, and then on a Tuesday. It is on a Monday and Tuesday, where we activate you with the healing and expansion event. So Tuesday is Sheila and I talking about that. It's free. You can go to kenlloydofficial.com. You can find it in the list, right? And then you'll get a chance to experience it. And let us talk to you about it. Now, I know a lot of people are wanting me to heal this and heal that. And again, it's not me, it's the team. We all know it's the team, people, right? I'm just the guy sipping water. I don't do the one-on-one sessions. I'm incredibly busy, right? And I have so many people I'm trying to serve. But what I've been able to do is create a small container called direct support. I limited it to 25 people. And I do it once a month. Just once a month. And it's won't be Tuesday, whatever the dates are, Monday or Tuesday, right? Check it out. Now, the direct support, you're going to be able to list 5 things you want the team to work on. I'm going to go through it for 2 or 3 hours, whatever it takes to go through the whole list for everybody. And then we're going to start going back and forth in chat. We're going to start working on you and work on you and work on you. It is the closest thing you can get to me virtually, unless, of course, you show up in those in-person events, right? So, listen, thanks, guys. We will be back same time next week with the camera working, right? There'll be more activations for you. There'll be more channeling. There'll be more. So with that, much love to all of you, and thank you for showing up. And, we will see you in the next thingy. And again, check out all the social media, guys. I'm always posting stuff on there for free. But then check out the site for all the really good stuff. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.